We have all heard there has been some controversy with the presidents of several universities and some of their commentary on the Israel-Palestine conflict. Those universities including MIT, which we don't like because they kicked a lip from Shameless out, Penn University, and Harvard. Now, go ahead and check out this video. It's a little bit longer one, but go ahead. It's all important. Of the president from Harvard testifying in front of Congress, and she gets grilled by Elise Stefanik, who's a Republican and Jewish representative from New York, and they ask her to do something that really shouldn't be that difficult, but for some reason she struggles to do it anyway. Go ahead, play the video for him.
A Harvard student calling for the mass murder of African Americans is not protected free speech at Harvard, correct?
Our commitment to free speech...
It's a yes or no question. Is that corrected? Is that okay for students to call for the mass murder of African Americans at Harvard? Is that protected free speech?
Our commitment to free speech
It's a yes or no question. Let me ask you this. You are president of Harvard, so I assume you're familiar with the term intifada, correct?
I've heard that term, yes.
And you understand that the use of the term intifada in the context of the Israeli-Arab conflict is indeed a call for violent armed resistance against the state of Israel, including violence against civilians and the genocide of Jews. Are you aware of that?
That type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent to me.
And there have been multiple marches at Harvard with students chanting, quote, "There is only one solution, intifada revolution," and, quote, "globalize the intifada." Is that correct?
I've heard that thoughtless, reckless, and hateful language on our campus, yes.
So based upon your testimony, you understand that this call for intifada is to commit genocide against the Jewish people in Israel and globally, correct?
I will say again, that type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent to me.
Do you believe that type of hateful speech is contrary to Harvard's code of conduct, or is it allowed at Harvard?
It is at odds with the values of Harvard.
Can you
But
not
our
say here that it is
values
against the
also-
code of conduct at Harvard?
We embrace a commitment to free expression, even of views that are objectionable, offensive, hateful. It's when that speech crosses into conduct that violates our policies against bullying, harassment,
Does that speech not cross that barrier? Does that speech not call for the genocide of Jews and the elimination of Israel?
When
You
that speech,
testify that you understand that is the definition of intifada. Is that speech according to the code of conduct or not?
we embrace a commitment to free expression and give a wide berth to free expression, even of views that are objectionable.
You and I both know that's not the
offensive.
case. You are aware that Harvard ranked dead last when it came to free speech. Are you not aware of that report?
As I observed earlier, I reject that characterization.
It's the
of our
data shows
campus.
it's true. And isn't it true that Harvard previously rescinded multiple offers of admissions for applicants and accepted freshmen for sharing offensive memes, racist statements, sometimes as young as 16 years old? Did Harvard not rescind those offers of admission?
That long predates my time as president.
But you
so I can't
understand
speak.
that Harvard made that decision to rescind those offers of admission.
I have no reason to contradict the facts as you present them.
Correct,
here.
because it's a fact. You're also aware that a Winthrop House faculty dean was let go over who he chose to legally represent, correct? That was while you were dean.
That is an incorrect characterization of what transpired.
What's the characterization?
I'm not going to get into details about a personnel matter.
Well, let me ask you this. Will admissions offers be rescinded or any disciplinary action be taken against students or applicants who say, from the river to the sea or intifada, advocating for the murder of Jews?
As I've said, that type of hateful, reckless, offensive speech is personally abhorrent to me.
Today that no action will be taken. What action will be taken?
When speech crosses into conduct that violates our policies, including policies against bullying, harassment, or intimidation, we take action. And we have robust disciplinary processes that allow us to hold individuals accountable.
What action has been taken against students who are harassing and calling for the genocide of Jews on Harvard's campus?
I can assure you, we have robust
What
disciplinary
actions have been taken?
processes
I'm not
with
asking.
actions underway.
I'm asking what actions have been taken against
Given-
those students.
Given students' rights to privacy and our obligations under FERPA, I will not say more about any specific cases other than to reiterate that processes are ongoing.
Do you know what the #1 hate crime in America is?
I know that over the last couple of months, there has been an alarming rise of anti-Semitism, which I understand is the critical topic that we are here to discuss.
That's correct. It is anti-Jewish hate crimes. And Harvard ranks the lowest when it comes to protecting Jewish students. This is why I've called for your resignation, and your testimony today, not being able to answer with moral clarity, speaks volumes. I yield back.
So that's all fine and dandy. That was Claudine Gay, the president of Harvard University, who looks like super hot fire from the YouTube videos, if you remember those back in the mid-2000s. Go ahead, check those out. So obviously, we've covered it pretty extensively on this show. Just to summarize it, there has been an increase in college leftists protesting on campuses calling for the genocide of Jews, more or less. They've been protesting Free Palestine because Harvard University has a lot to do with Israel, and they can really affect what's going on over in Israel. But we've had college liberals who have, remind you, the same people that called me a Nazi because I want lower taxes. I want lower taxes and I want to have a gun, are now advocating for the massacre of Jews. They called me a Nazi, the guy with the not white wife, the red face of white supremacy, albeit, but non-white. That's all that matters. That's the only thing that matters. So they're claiming that it's not that they will only ban people for what's bullying, harassment, or intimidation. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like saying that we should kill the Jews might qualify as bullying, harassment, or intimidation to Jewish students. I don't know. And here's my thing. I'm a big free speech guy. You can say whatever the hell you want. Obviously, there are very specific limits to free speech. People can say, people are allowed to be wrong. People can say, we need to pass a law that reinstitutes the Holocaust and kills all the Jews. They're allowed to be stupid like that. What they can't say is, hey, let's go kill that Jewish guy right there. That's when it becomes conspiracy. That's when it becomes incitement. That's the things you can't do. They're allowed to have these opinions, but and I support their right to have these opinions. The problem here is Harvard has set a precedent in the past that they need to withhold on both sides. Remember what I always talk about, when you set a precedent, you have to ask when that's going to be used against you. Well, they have made the precedent clear. Like she said, Harvard is one of the worst college campuses in the country for free speech. 72% of students say they don't believe conservative speakers should even be allowed to set foot on campus at Harvard. Harvard has banned pro-life activists, conservative small government, lower taxes activists, time and time again from showing up at their campus. Not only have they done that, when they talked about their harassment policies that calling for the massacres of Jews apparently doesn't violate. Here's a flashback to some of Harvard's harassment policies. Students caught using the wrong gender pronouns at Harvard may violate harassment policies. So I'm going to get this straight. Again, if you're going to have harassment policies that go beyond the legal limits of free speech, we need to be at least a little consistent, or at least a little bit less retarded here. Can we all agree on that? So I think it's safe to say that if me calling a mentally ill person that identifies as non-binary their correct gender, whether it be he or she, if that constitutes as harassment, I think it's safe to say that gas the Jews also does. Especially when I'd be willing to bet, well, maybe not anymore. I was going to say I'd be willing to bet you got more Jewish at Harvard. Yeah, probably. More Jewish students than non-binary students going to Harvard. I'm just going to roll the dice there. It's going to take a wild shot in the dark. I mean, seriously, they asked her the most softball question imaginable. Can you disavow the genocide of Jews? And she wouldn't answer it. Do you know how many politicians wish they would ask that question? Can you disavow the genocide of Jews? That's like Lizzo, Bin Laden, your wife. Fuck one, marry one, kill one. It's that easy of a scenario. Just say, of course. Knock something over. Massacring Jews is a bad thing. Nobody should want that. But she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it, and there's one of two reasons. Number one, I don't know which one's more disturbing. Number one, she actually believes that we should massacre the Jews, or she actually thinks that Israel deserves to be wiped off the map from the river to the sea. Remember, when they say from the river to the sea, that's coded speech for genocide. That's the first option. She either believes that Israel should be wiped off the map and we should genocide the Jews, or number two, she is so beholden to the woke mob and so scared what these idiots are going to do to her that she won't actually speak her mind. The lunatics are running the asylum at Harvard. And it's not just Harvard, it's MIT, it's Penn, who have both lost their presidents in the last couple weeks. Part of that was due to pressure from Dave Portnoy, the owner of Barstool. Did you hear what Dave Portnoy said, Mia? And I love Portnoy and I like Barstool. But this was funny. This made me chuckle a little bit. Like, okay, hold on. Dave Portnoy said that Barstool Sports would not be hiring anyone from Harvard, MIT, or Penn until those presidents are fired. And I'm like, good for him. But saying Barstool Sports is not going to hire anyone from MIT, that's basically the equivalent of Chris Christie coming on national TV and going, you know what, Margot Robbie, fuck you, I will never date you. That's basically the same thing, right? That's like me saying, Chicago Bears, I don't want to play for you. Sorry, I don't want to be your quarterback. Get over it, move on, let it go. It's not happening, Chicago. Kiss my ass. It's basically the same thing, right? Hey, CNN, fuck you and your offer to bring my show on. Oh, CNN would never want me on. That's pretty much the same thing. That's the problem, though, is the precedent has been set. I believe in free speech. I believe you have a right to say and advocate for whatever you want to, as long as you're not directly, obviously conspiring to hurt somebody or directly leading a mob of people to hurt somebody else. With that said, Harvard set the precedent, and if you want to maintain that precedent, you have to keep it up on both sides. So if you're going to ban someone that's going to show up at your campus with pictures of aborted fetuses, you have to ban people from saying kill the Jews. You have to ban people from calling for genocide. That's exactly what's going on here. And let's stop acting like it's true. Let's stop acting like it's true. None of these things are benefiting the Palestinian people at all. Nothing. Nothing going on in the United States right now. None of these protests are benefiting anyone in Palestine right now. The only people these things are benefiting are the spoiled brats that want to feel like they're doing something. I'm making a difference, right? Those idiots. Or the bad actors and saboteurs that like to join these things and wait for them to get lawless so they can start looting and just committing random acts of violence. That's what it's really about. That's really what it's about, is people finding a voice or acting lawless. That's what these protests have basically devolved into. Again, we've been pretty moderate down the middle covering this Israel-Palestine thing on this show. I think Israel has a right to defend itself. I'd prefer the United States not bankrupt its future and get us tied into more wars in the Middle East. To help them do it. And then at the same time, I feel bad for the Palestinian women and children getting blown up over there. But these people on the Palestinian side of the United States make it very, very difficult to feel sorry for the Palestinians. They just do. It's so tough to get on board with these spoiled kids that truly have no idea. Their grasp on global politics comes from a 2.5-minute TikTok video they watched where they established all of their opinions on this entire thing going on over there. They established a war that's been waging for thousands of years They established their opinions on it in a 2.5-minute TikTok video. This is, this is serious. I'm not even joking. I'm not even exaggerating here. I guarantee you 75% of the people that are participating in these Free Palestine marches, that are posting Free Palestine and all this garbage, because that's how activism works. Did you know that, Mia? That's how things get done in this country, is white women share graphics to their Instagram stories. That's every civil rights movement throughout history has had white women sharing graphics to their Facebook and Instagram stories. Right behind it. Martin Luther King was nothing without Michelle sharing those graphics on Instagram. Gandhi, kiss my ass. Okay, if Brianna wasn't on Snapchat carrying all the weight, would have been a nobody. A skid mark on the ass of history, Gandhi. Fuck you. Right? But no, that's the thing. Seriously, if you polled 75% of these people, I guarantee you 75% of these people got formed their entire opinion on this super complex geopolitical global crisis that's been waging on since before Christ. I guarantee you they formed their opinions on it in less than 3 minutes in a TikTok or YouTube video they watched or a Facebook post. I mean, these are morons. These are morons, and these are the people at Harvard that we're going to look to lead. This isn't the community college. Which there's nothing wrong with going to, by the way. This is Harvard. That's like the thing. We'll wrap the lead topic up and get into the next segment here. But that's like, I did a show. We actually we're recording super late tonight. I did a show, and because I just got back from a comedy show, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm find someone who loves you the way millennial white women hate my stand-up. That's all I'll say. If you haven't been to a show, come out. We'll always post the dates on socials. There were these two white women in the front row, and I get to telling the jokes about my interracial marriage, my wife being Native American, and two white women right up front and center stage. One of them will not even look at me. She's not looking at her phone. She's so disgusted by me, she's frozen but can't look at me. The other one is laser beams through me. So I look at her and I'm like, you fucking hate me, don't you? And she just kind of tries to laugh, and I can tell she just has this horrified look on her face. Not horror. She has this just anger seeping through her. But they're up front and they are surrounded, so they can't get up and walk out, which was the best. They were trapped there. I comedy raped them. Was that too far, Mia? Was that too far? So I'm standing there, and she does this angry, snarky nod at me. And I go, let me guess, you're one of those 213th Cherokee dumbasses, aren't you? And the whole crowd starts laughing. And I put the mic down and I go, well, fuck you and your white guilt. And I think we're going to start selling shirts that say that. Fuck you and your white guilt. If you want one, get at me, CalebSalvatoreComedy.com. I think we're going to start moving those shirts. And then we find out, through a little bit of digging, that this girl works, because, crowd work, right? Social engineering. We find out this girl works in anti-terrorism, counter-terrorism. That's right. The people that are defending this country from terrorism are getting their panties in a wad over a Native American joke. Are we fucked or are we fucked? I mean, this is where we are as a country. All right. Anyway, that's been our lead topic for the week. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.